evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobes show. I'm Richard Vobes, and this is the show on Wednesday, the 6th of May. 6th of May, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and how are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show. It's nice to see everybody turning up. Sorry I was a bit late live here in the studio. If you're watching this on the rerun, of course, this won't mean anything to you, but I was just waiting for the underside of a loaf of bread to be ready. And it's ready, and it's lovely, and it's delightful, and it's marvellous, but it's not mine. No, it's for the lovely Julia. Where is the lovely Julia? I've noticed she doesn't seem to be out there at the moment, but maybe she'll turn up a little bit later on. Anyway, yes, another successful loaf. I made a loaf for myself earlier, but I had one of those issues where the loaf went... That's the second time that's happened to me, and I'm starting to get a little worried. I've lost my magic touch. I don't know what it is. 1 minute I was master baker, and now I'm master drooper. So that's 2 droopy loaves that I've had. I think it's because I'm just not needing enough. I'm not needed. I'm just not needed enough, ladies and gentlemen. You know what these egotistical people are like. Well, welcome to the show. Lovely for you to come along and see me sitting here in front of you. Marvellous. Let's find out who's there. The lovely Julie has just arrived, so we can crack on. First of all, let me just say a big hello to Josephine Souter. Nice to see you. Mark Donny McLeod, Tracy Murphy, Turbo Stream, Audrey Forbes Hamilton, Roy Ballinger. Lovely to see to you. And see to you. Lovely to see to you. Linda Kane, how are you? Hope you're well and doing good things. Michael Angel is there. He says, is this the professional bread making channel? Yeah. Do you know, I've done the professional thing this evening. I sprinkled a little bit of flour on top of the bread when it came out. It just made it look absolutely perfect. I hadn't done that before. That was the finishing touch, isn't it? It's like a little sprinkling of icing on them. Lovely to see Ron Langley and the lovely Judith. Thank you very much, Judith, for coming in with your blue spanner, not hammer. Ben Reeve, it's nice to see you too. And Ed Loud, LOL. Barbara Charles, it has not started yet, and he's already mentioned bread. Yes, sorry about that. Let's see who else. Where in Sussex? Yes, where are you, Mr. Where in Sussex? He says, I had a minor panic when it was gone 8 and no show. Thought it was Thursday. I should be out supporting the NHS, working the neighbours, doing all the clapping malarkey. Yes, did forget to do that last week. Do apologise for that. Anyway, good evening and thank you very much. Kevin's Rambles is here. Kevin is going to be featured in today, which is very nice. Days of Yore. Josephine, who is also featured in today's show. Barry Stevens is also featured in today's show. A lot of featuring in today's show, with a lot of stuff to catch up with. Adrian Murphy, hello to you. Lovely to see you. Cynthia's Camera, hello to you as well. And everyone else who's just coming in. Riverside Roblox. I'm not sure if I got that right. I always get that cocked up, don't I? David Sargent, Mike Dixon. It is live. Yes, it is live. I'm actually here. Phew. There we go. Now, I'd like to just say, whilst we've got about 61 of you, thank you very much for the thumbs up already, which is very kind of you. Who is having a socially distanced street party on Friday? We are. Why are you having a street party on Friday? I'd like to know that. Is it the VE Day celebrations that you're having a socially distanced thing? It's funny, there's all this 75 years since VE Day, and yet here we are in May, and it's 80 years, which I think is a much better, rounder number than 75. 75 just seems a sort of not quite anything number, whereas 80 years of the Battle of Britain. Not quite sure why the Battle of Britain seems to have been shunted out of the way, and VE Day, which is 5 years hence, before we get a proper celebration, in my mind, but other people may have a different mind. Of course, we've all got different minds. Some of those minds are more mindful than my mind, but there we are. 80 years since the Battle of Britain. I was going to be out and about doing some things. I'm hoping that the lockdown will permit me to do a bit more of that. But oh, by the way, I got some. I'm not on tea. I'm not on coffee this evening. I'm just on some Who is it? Robinson's barley water or some such nonsense. Anyway, Barry Stevens, hello. He says, look forward to it. Connor says, hi. Filmed a video today. Edited it as we watched the Vobes. So that must have put you off. Editing whilst watching me. But thank you very much. Looking forward to your video. Lovely to talk to you, by the way, yesterday. Grape Juice 116. Hello all. Hello, Mr. Grape Juice 116. This isn't actually grape juice, just in case you tuned in purely because you thought I was drinking grape juice. It's not actually grape juice. And Glastonbury Gabriel, another man who's going to be featured in today's show. Mike Stevens says, because they want us to celebrate Europe and not Britain, unfortunately. Yes, the Battle of Britain, to my mind, far more important. Anyone for tennis, says the lovely Linda Kane. Is that because it's Robinson's barley? They always have a bit of barley water, isn't it? I don't quite know what the barley part of the water is. And Audrey Forbes is here. No, I can see all of his bonts. What do you mean you can see all of his bonts? Got the whole head on my TV, Kevin. Lovely. That's really handy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got 67 of you. Thank you very much for coming in. I want to make an announcement just to let you know. I want to say a big thank you also to everybody who's donated some money towards buying a mixer, a Vision mixer. Yes, we have paid for a person now to sit and Vision mix like this in a special control panel that will be floating above the studio. No, I'm talking rubbish. We have paid for a gadget. A gadget. You may remember I was asking for donations for the gadget. Well, enough donations have come in, and it's very thankful. But there is about 6-week delay in getting this thing to come in. So I've pre-ordered it. £99, put it down, pre-order. And when it comes in, you pay the rest, and then they'll deliver it. So I've spent 99 quid of the money. But hopefully when it comes in, we will have... what a difference it will make with the show. Probably no difference whatsoever, to be honest with you, but it will be nice and swish sitting on my desk. Nice, expensive piece. No. I'm hoping it will, because I want to have a second camera in here, but I also want to be able to do some live cooking things and other things in the kitchen. And I want to have 2 cameras in there and 2 cameras in here and make this show just, sing a little bit more. And then when lockdown is over, certainly have more guests in. Get Mr. Suggett in the kitchen, cooking away, get the lovely Julia in, of course, and other people, which would be good. We could even put 2 cameras, probably have to get some more lights and things, in my office, and we could make Book Corner, where we get a special guest in, and they sit there, and we have a discussion about something very, very exciting and valuable and all that sort of thing. Maybe. Who knows? We're up for all sorts of ideas at the moment. Also, coming up, some more games. Do you remember we used to do What's in the Box? I want to do that, but with more phone calls, because we do want to encourage people to ring in and take part in some interesting games which people can come in, like being a contestant and winning a non-existent prize. Well, these non-existent prizes are the ones that I like. Obviously, the contestants won't like them quite so much. So there we are. Lucky you, says Josephine. 71 people watching already, says Grape Juice 116. That would be good. And actually, fact, it'd be quite fun to find out some of the history or the story behind some of the names out there. For example, Grape Juice 116. I'm curious to know why Grape Juice 116. Maybe that you are addicted to grapefruit juice. Is it great? It is just grape juice, isn't it? Grapefruit. And Laura Noel C. Hello, everyone. Very nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. And Wendy Laurie used to enjoy What's in the Box. Yeah, we used to enjoy What's in the Box, and we will do more of it. We got sort of carried away with this lockdown thing, just doing show after show. It's all been a bit hectic, and not enough thought has gone into the shows. But I very much appreciate the videos that have been coming in. We're going to show a video because we've got quite a few videos to get through. So we're going to get through. I'm going to make sure we get through them all tonight. We'll open up the phone lines after the first video. So let's crack on with a video. And there were several videos that we didn't get through yesterday, so we're going to go straight into those. First of all, young Kevin. Now, I know Kevin has been trying to work on this particular video for some time. He went up to the place that he's going to tell us about in a moment once, and he filmed it, and I think he said there was no sound on it, or something went, no, there were these terror girls. Maybe you can ring up and tell us about the terror girls who plagued him in a minute, Kevin. And then he had to go back and refilm the whole thing again. Anybody who's tried filming will know what a pain it is when there are other people about, especially if they're prattling around. Anyway, Kevin is up on St Anne's Hill in Midhurst, and he's answering some questions that people had asked in the show a few shows ago when he was last there. So this is Kevin answering the questions. Very good of him to go back out there. If anybody's got any extra questions for Kevin about anything to do with Midhurst, Sussex, the south of England, possibly the northern hemisphere of the globe, then do get him to go out and make a video, and he will answer those questions. I have it on my assurance that Ask Kevin is going to be a fantastic new feature on the show. Kevin will go to the location or pretend he's at the location, perhaps standing in front of a hedge or a tree or the backside of a bus, and pretend that he's there and answer the questions. So if you've got questions for Kevin, please ask Kevin, because he's only too excited, very, very excited to get out there and answer your questions about anything. He's such an intellectual person, as you'll appreciate, that he will answer your questions on anything on video, ladies and gentlemen, on video. So here he is answering questions that were about certain stonework, masonry, that came up in one of the videos he did before at St. Anne's Hill in Midhurst. Take it away, Kevin.
Morning, Kevin here. Just approaching St. Anne's Hill, and this is the entrance that would have had an arch above it, but originally this was a wooden construction. I think it dates back to the Norman conquest, but Midhurst was developed by the Normans. Now, this is a 5.5 acre site. Just pan round slowly so you can see the layout of it. But the walls that you see here now are just curtain walls, really, showing where the original layout of the old castle or manor house was. But here, just in front of me, is where the chapel was, and this was dedicated to St. Denis. Now we're going back to the 1200s, and the Bowen family built up the castle to what it ended up, and they were here until about 1283, I believe, when they then moved down to the lower land, where they then built Caldry House, which in 1753, I think it was, burnt down, and there was a curse put on the family by a monk, I believe it was, that they would die of fire in the house. Just below me, very steep slopes, which would have given this a fantastic vantage point up here. It's like a spur at the top of, just on the outskirts of Midhurst. And none of these trees would have been here. So this would have been a fabulous vantage point for them to look across the valley to the surrounding lands. Beyond these trees is fields, polo fields of the Caldry Park Polo Club. The tree, excuse me, the trees up here are mainly sweet chestnut. There is one oak tree and some hazel and silver birch. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that little look at St. Anne's Hill in Midhurst. A lovely day here today. I just wandered back up into the centre, and a very quick pan round to this last bit here, and I'll see you on another one. Bye for now. Bye bye.
And there he is, the immeasurable Kevin Hall. And well done, Kevin. Really like that. Looked very nice, actually. Well presented, and answered all the questions. And now Barry Stevens says the myths and legends of Sussex, Kevin. There must be some myths and legends, particularly around Midhurst. So we look forward to Kevin's next assignment there, myths and legends of Sussex, or at least around the golf course of Midhurst Golf Course, which I believe Kevin is probably a member. He can tell us the myth of the 18th hole, or is it the 19th hole? And he can tell us the myth of his drinking hole when he was a younger man. And also the myth of him being a long-distance runner or a fast sprinter or something like that. So we look forward to those myths, Kevin. And if not, take a leaf out of Philip Mercer's book and just make something up. But that will be really, really good, and we look forward to that. Thank you very much, Kevin. You're a star. And thank you so much for offering. You may not realise that you offered, but it was great that you did. Anyway, well, there we are. That's how easy it is, ladies and gentlemen, to go out there and make a video, and you too could do the same. In the meantime, you may want to give us a buzz on the old blower, 0793 4746 Have you got any myths and legends that you could share with us? Have you ever seen a ghost, for example? A lot of people claim to have seen ghosts or have seen spots on their pictures which turn out to be a bit of dust on the lens, or a bit of shimmer from the sun, or a bit of glare or something perfectly ordinary, or perhaps it was a knight in a sailor's outfit. Who knows? Anyway, Dawn Coping says, wow, such knowledge, Kevin. Brill, must go to St. Anne's Hill. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please don't go en masse to St. Anne's Hill. It can only occupy about 200 people, and if you've all got to be 6 foot from each other, it's probably down to about 30 people. However, if you do manage to photobomb it in a sort of social distance way, keeping yourselves at arm's length, do smile at the camera. Mike Stevens says that who would have thought that they had a chapel and a church there? Yeah, no, who would have thought? I mean, it's a bit out of order, really, that they took the church and the chapel down so that we in the future could never have guessed that it was there. Thankfully, somebody left the little bit of stonemasonry there with the outline. I think when I go, I'm going to take down my house completely and just leave a little outline of the house to say, Vobes lived here, I've taken the house away, but I have left a little bit of damp course for you, which would be lovely. Let's find out who that is, ringing up on the Vobes show this evening. Hello to you.
It's the man from St. Anne's Hill.
Oh, the man from St. Anne's Hill. Very nice to hear you, Mr. Man from St. Anne's Hill.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, I understand that you filmed that twice.
I did. In fact, I did it 3 times.
3 times?
Three times.
Oh, my goodness. Tell us about why you had to do it 3 times.
First time was a bit of I started filming it and got so far and the battery ran out.
That happens to the best of us.
Oh, dear. And I've got a spare battery, but guess what?
Left it at home.
So I left it at home.
Yeah.
But the second time was really annoying. I'd done some filming around the old part of Midhurst, as you know that very well, Richard.
Yeah.
And I was walking up through from the square up towards St. Anne's Hill, and there was 2 young girls on bikes. And I was doing my first piece going as I was walking up into St. Anne's Hill. So I thought the girls were coming through. So I said, would you like to come through? And they said, no, we're not coming up there today. So I said, oh, that's fine. Okay. I said, so I just carried on, started doing another clip. And the next thing, obviously, I've turned around, I've seen these girls coming towards me. They've seen that I'm filming and I'm talking to the camera and giving a bit of information out. And the next thing, they are flying past me, riding their bikes to the top of the slope and then coming back down. And as they were coming back down, they just kept screeching and squealing all the time.
On purpose. On
purpose, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because each time they were coming towards me, they were just looking at me and screeching away. So I waited for a little while, then they seemed to disappear. So I carried on. I started doing another piece up there. And as I was walking back round from the bottom slope to bring in the main wall again, they saw me again, and then they come straight back up. Then they started doing it again. So I just gave it up as a bad job.
Yes.
And it's no point, because once they're doing it twice, they're going to carry on. keep doing that because they know they think they're going to be on film, but they're not because you just take them out of it anyway.
Well, of course, you edit it out. I mean, how people would ever think that you're likely to keep it, unless it's adding something.
Yes, absolutely. But in that case, it wasn't. No, it was just destroying everything I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So I just carried on, did a walk round Keldry polo fields and the ruins, etc., and then decided to go back on a different day and made sure there was no sign of anybody before I'd even started. So,
yes.
But there was one chap that kept walking up round for a little bit. He saw me up there, and I think he just really wasn't sure where he wanted to go, but he just disappeared back into the town, so that was fine.
So what's the latest production, Kevin?
Well, actually, there is going to be one. I'm going to do a video, a little bit about polo itself and the polo grounds.
Oh, I love polos. I don't like the mints that are whole. I like the ones with the holes in. The polos are great.
Exactly. Yeah, my dad used to like extra strong mints, but because they didn't have a hole in.
No. I don't know what they used to do with the holes in the polo. Maybe they used them as that thing, that game where there's people on horses and they hit something. Is it a puck? Is that what they do with it?
That's in ice hockey where they hit a puck.
Oh, it's ice hockey, is it? How they get the horses on ice? I mean, that's incredible.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
I suppose they must
special
hoofs.
Hoofs, yeah, they got spikes in.
So yeah, you're going to do a thing about polo. That's a rich person's game, isn't it? You need special horses, don't you? And
polo ponies, they're actually cost a fortune. Yeah, absolutely cost a fortune. I've got
You got some of it?
Well, no, I wish I had.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say I've got some.
I've got two clients. One that is a retired polo player, but he goes out as an ambassador all over the world. But I've got another client, chap called James Bine.
James Bond?
Yeah, I wish. But he's just recently given up the England captaincy after 6 years. But he's won it's the world famous, for those who know polo, called the Gold Cup. It's the one trophy that every polo player wants to win.
Yeah, well, you can understand that, can't you? The Gold Cup. Imagine saying, "We've got the Bronze Cup. Who wants to win the bronze? We've got a rusty. We've got an Iron Cup. Anybody? I mean, it's obviously going to be the Gold Cup, isn't it? The gold one. Who wants to? It's like we got some crappy plastic cup. Anyone want to win? Play the cup on. It's a plastic cup from Costco. Costco. Whatever the coffee plant, there's Starbucks.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Starbucks.
Yeah, that's what it is about. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to try and do a little piece about that.
That sounds brilliant.
And I've got permission to use a video from YouTube. They had a very well-known guy called Terry Hanlon, who was the PA, and he used to commentate on and give all the talk about the polo and the commentary and things like that. Great character, met him several times. And I'm looking forward to doing that one. I'm going to take a bit of time to produce that one, I think, to try and get it as good as I can.
Yeah, well, I know that you've been, you've had your head nose down. You haven't been out walking much because you've had your nose into DaVinci Resolve, learning how to edit. And ringing me up every 10 seconds. Hi, Richard. How do you do this? Richard.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
You've been very patient with me, Richard, and I really appreciate it.
No, you've come on in leaps and bounds. So
thank you very much.
That's really good. So now what about the myths and legends then? Are you up for going out and doing a bit of Vobing reporting?
Well, let's wait until the lockdown's finished, and I'll have to have a think about that.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I think Sunday, Boris is he's got the rope, where it's going to lift up the curtain and say, "You've all been very good. Off you go."
And you're going to do nothing.
Yeah. No, you just say, "Out you go now. Come on, out you go," and we'll all be going. What do you mean, out? I don't want to go out there. It's dangerous out. I'm not going out there.
That's right.
We're all going to be going, what, outside in fresh air, in sunlight. Oh no, we're all used to being Morlocks. That's kind of what it is, isn't it?
It is. Is that different to a Horlock?
It's different to a whole lot. You see, I think that's what H.G. Wells was getting at in The Time Machine. I think what happened, I don't know whether this is in the original books, ages since I read it. I did read The Time Machine, it's a very good book. But the Morlocks were the people who were underground. And I reckon they must have had a bit of COVID-19. The Prime Minister of the day said, everybody stay inside. And then the Prime Minister probably caught the disease like Boris did. But unfortunately, in their day, he died. And nobody told the Morlocks they could come out, so they stayed underground all that time until the Traveller, as he was known in H.G. Wells's book, suddenly arrived in the future, and the Eloi, or however it's pronounced, and he go down into the underground, and the Morlocks come out. So I think they had a touch of the COVID in the old days.
Oh, right. An early bout of it then.
An early, yeah. Well, actually, that's supposed to be in the future. So actually, I think that, if Boris had actually snuffed it, we would never have got out. We would have been the Morlocks, and then the H.G. Wells's Time Machine would have come true.
Oh, right, okay. I'll take your word for that, Richard.
Do take my...
You know, I'm a prolific book reader. I love books. I've got a huge library.
I've seen your library. I've seen your library in that bottom drawer in the shed of yours. It is massive.
I know.
There must be nearly 3, is there?
Well, nearly 3 pages.
3 pages that you've managed to get through. So, so if anybody wants to put a challenge to good old Kevin, he's more than up for it. He'll sit there with a great big tome and he'll read and read and read and digest it from every possible angle and then produce a 2.5-hour video where he'll spiel out the legends of Sussex.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Particularly if it relates to polo.
Yeah. But I've also been dipping into the old library of films that I've still got where I've been out walking last year and that. Put 2 up on YouTube yesterday. So
is that a plug? Is that a plug for your channel? Is that a plug?
I'm not going to mention the channel because that's not fair.
What, Kevin's Rambles? Kevin's Rambles on YouTube. What, that amazing channel of that bloke, that sort of beautiful equine, I don't know what that means. That I don't have no idea. It just sounded good when I said it. The equine bloke with the manicured beard and the sort of William Hartnell hairstyle.
Well, the William Hartnell hairstyle. I can't wait to get rid of it.
No, yes, I bet.
It's driving me mad.
I bet it is. But hey ho.
I was chatting to Cynthia Warder earlier on, and I said to her, I want to get my step-niece to come up and cut my hair, and she usually does it anyway. And she said, "You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to."
Not allowed to. No.
No.
You could get one of those horse shearing, those sheep shearing things on a stick, and do it through the letterbox. She could sort of do that. That could work.
Yeah. It could do. Yeah, I doubt it.
Oh, well.
All
good fun.
Anyway,
lovely
it is indeed, Richard.
Lovely to talk to you. Let's hope everyone checks out the Kevin's Rambles on YouTube. Apparently, it's the next best thing. Up-and-coming video star.
Yeah, right.
We'll try and get some more viewers for you.
I'm up to 178 subscribers, so that'd be cool.
My goodness, you're catching up with various other people we know.
Yes.
Anyway, good for you.
Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we are. That's Kevin. And, if you want any advice on video production, particularly if you want to know the intimate knowledge of DaVinci Resolve, Kevin's your man. Looks like everyone's been having a good nit-nat chitty-chat out there on the world of. Did the SS put sticks through people's front wheels? Asks Glastonbury Gabriel. They may well have done. We should do a ghost hunt with Richard Vobes. Invite Mark English, says Dean Coop. I think that would be great. I'd love to do that. I'd love to get a big white sheet and go out there and do it. Wilfred is Boris's new son, says Mike Stevens. Is that his name, Wilfred? Is that what they've called him? Dean Cooper also says, I saw one of the Warwick Street bench gang today on your video. Did you really? The Warwick Street. That's almost like one of the, what was the Cato Street? Linda Kane, help me out here. Is it the Cato Street conspirators or whatever they were? The Warwick Street bench. It's like who were the runners? The Bow Street runners. The Warwick Street Bench Gang. Beware for the Warwick Street Bench Gang when you go into the town today. If you go down in the Worthing town, you better go in disguise. If you go down into Worthing town, you will not believe your eyes. The Warwick Street Bench Gang will be there to something or other and delete. Anyway, so that's all good. Everybody's having a nice Cato from Green Hornet. Oh yes, the Cato from the Green Hornet. Okay, that was the Pink Panther, wasn't it? The Pink Panther. Anyway, enough of this gay banter. We must move swiftly over to the video box. He's a jolly good fellow. Barry and Faden. Aha. Oh no, that was who was that who did the aha? Yes, you know who I mean, from Norwich. Nicholas Parsons. Nicholas Parsons did come from Norwich, the sale of the century. That's not who I was thinking of. From Norwich! It's the sale of the century. Do you remember the sale of the century? That wasn't who I was thinking of. Aha! Oh, what's it? Alan Partridge. There we are. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Never mind, not Alan Partridge. We're talking about Barry and Faden. Aha! It's time for the travelling duo.
Hello everybody, I'm Richard. Today we are exploring the disused bit of Basingstoke Canal.
Yep, today we're on a daily bike ride. This is the end of the navigable part of the Basingstoke Canal, and you'll be able to see there they're like buoys in the water where you can't go any further. So we'll be exploring from then on. We'll get back to you soon. We're nearly at the Basingstoke Canal Tunnel entrance. I'd just like to show you this part. This is obviously boats don't go through here, but it's a haven for wildlife and for nesting birds. Anyway, I'll get back to you soon.
We're now at the entrance of the bridge.
Should we walk down and have a look?
Yeah.
Richard will recognise this place, and maybe some of the viewers will, from videos we've done nearly a year ago now.
Or just one.
Yeah.
You've probably only seen it once. Because you haven't seen it unless you came here.
As Faden just said, this is the entrance of the tunnel.
The water's a bit disgusting.
Yeah, the length is actually 1,230 yards. It was restored in 1975. So you can get through there. You can't actually get through. It's a dwelling for a large population of bats. I believe it was the largest population of bats in Europe.
There used to be a boat in here, maybe for decoration.
I think it was a council boat. They used to use it for dredging and things like that. To show you the brickwork.
Yeah. As Richard probably remembers that's been gated off.
Anyway, we'll get back to you soon. Hello, here we are at the other end of Greywell Tunnel. The tunnel was actually built in 1788 and it took 4 years to build. Oh, you can see a boat in there. I'll try and get that in there. See that boat? In there? Yeah, this end of the canal. It basically, it's just a derelict canal. It's all overgrown. There's a little bit of manky water in there, but that's it. I'll give you a pan of the tunnel, and Faden's just going to tell you some information.
The canal didn't have any towpath, so the men had to leg it their way through.
Yeah, it used to be called legging. They had to do it through the tunnel because there was no towpath. Anyway, we'll get back to you for a final part of the video. Bye bye.
That's it from us now, and hope to see you soon, and goodbye everybody.
Goodbye everybody. We're just riding down Greywell Hill now, back home again. Oh dear, I've just spied lots, keep going, I've just spied lots of balls right where we need to get out. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here because we're probably going to have to battle some cows. Bye bye for now.
And after that, I'm sorry to say that poor Faden got eaten by all those bulls. Yes, they gobbled him up, and never to be seen again, apparently. At least I hope that's not what happened. That's what Barry said to me. He said, I'm sorry to say, my son's been eaten by a big herd of bulls. So I thought that was a bit sad, really. But you've got to feed them up on something. I mean, the farmer's got to have his cattle fed on something, and they're not going to eat Barry because Barry's a chef. He'll be cooking the bovines. We don't want any of that. No, brilliant stuff. Love that. He's coming on to be a proper little star, aren't you, Faden? Are you watching, Faden? Here's a big wave to you. I'm sure you're alive and kicking, probably ready to kick the telly or the computer or whatever, the laptop or the tablet or the phone or the strange 3D hologram or whatever it is. Not much to eat on Faden, says Barry. No, they spat him out again. Give us something a bit more chunky, thank you. Marvellous stuff. Very much enjoyed that. Well done. Do look forward to your videos when you come out. You get around, and I love it. And I do remember going up there. We had a lovely day that day when we went up to the Basingstoke Canal. But I did think it's interesting because you did say that to me. I remember on the day when we were filming, there's just those floats going across to say that's the end of the canal. But there didn't seem to be any signage. So if you weren't paying much attention, you're sitting there in your canal boat going putt, 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 perhaps reading a book, putt, 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 looking at the scenery. I don't know, that sort of thing. You could easily just go past those things, and then before you know it, you'd be in the tunnel going, wait a minute, it's a bit dark all of a sudden, having crashed through the gate. And as somebody said, where would you turn it round? There must have been a winding hole somewhere, but presumably we missed it. Anyway, fantastic. Must go up there and explore the Basingstoke Canal. I do have a coracle, which is in Shrewsbury at the moment, but I must bring it down. It's a very slow moving. It's even slower than slow, really. So I probably need to get a little outboard motor on the back, which would be... I've seen a coracle, which traditionally you scully like this. In a figure-of-8 motion from the front. You scully it along as opposed to trying to do that, because as soon as you do that, because it's circular, you just whiz round. So you scully it and you draw it forward. You're sort of effectively pulling it forward. But I did see a video, there is a video on YouTube with a coracle and a small outboard motor, which is a tiny little thing clamped on the back, and there's this bloke going like that. It's great to see. And of course it upsets all the traditionalists. Now I'm a bit of a traditionalist, but it did amuse me seeing this guy. It's a bit like Gabriel yesterday saying how he gets on his electric bike and he just pootles past the professional cyclists who are all bent down like this doing their cycling, and he's just like, oh, bye. And they're cursing and swearing, thinking they own the road. So anyway, thank you very much for that, Barry and Faden. That's great stuff. Coracle with an engine. The world has come to an end, says Mark Donny McLeod. Yes, I know. It does upset the traditionalists, but it is quite funny because it's so absurd. It's just so absurd. Coracles on the River Severn, says Turbo Stream. Yes, that's it. I've been on the River Severn in my coracle, which is why it's up in Shrewsbury. They apparently, in different parts of the River Severn, the shape of the coracle changes because they were developed in different, and you, in the old days, not so much now, but in the old days you could go, oh yeah, that's a Bewdley coracle, that's a Shrewsbury coracle, that's a Telford coracle, etc., etc. Those coracles look so off balance to us Americans, and well, they're not really, because they're just the oldest principle of a cup, a wicker basket. It's really just a wicker basket covered in, traditionally covered in hide, but more recently in some sort of calico or something with tar on it, and that seals it. And you just sit inside there. It's great. Near Bristol on the Avon, I've seen a few that are more oval than round. Yes, oval, round. There are different varieties. There's a lovely chap, I don't know if he's still around, Peter Faulkner, who he is in Herefordshire at Lentwydine, and I did an interview with him, and he's got circular ones. My one is oval. It's kind of square really, but with rounded ends. Turbo Stream says, I would fall in. There is an art to getting into it, definitely. There's definitely an art to getting into the coracle. You can't put your weight, you can't put 1 foot in. You kind of have to get onto the seat and shift yourself across fairly swiftly. Otherwise, it'll just end over. They spin well. They do. They do spin well. They are great fun. If you've ever been in a coracle, do let me know. We'll have another video now, and then we'll open up the phone lines again and see who else is out there and up for a call. So we've got a number to get through, so I'm going to get through. Now, the lovely Josephine Suter has sent in. Remember, she sent in one some time ago. Hello to you, Josephine. This is a little... it was encoded quite in low res. When it came in, it was quite a tiny little file, so it is a little bit blurry, but it's perfectly fine, and it's an interesting place. I want Josephine to tell me where it is after this, because it's somewhere where I could go, and I did look on the map to see where it is, and I can see the old quarry, but I couldn't work out where you park if you drove there, or how you get there. It seemed to be on the back of a housing estate. But anyway, let's have a look at the video and see what we make of it. Thank you very much to Josephine Suter.
Hi, it's Josephine and Lily. Lily! And we are walking around Sandgate Park in Washington, West Sussex. This estate was centred on Sandgate House and its surrounding ornamental parks north of the road. I love the cedar trees in front. Come on, Lily. Sandgate House has unfortunately been demolished now, and Horsham District Council have recently made the area into a country park for people like us. There are two parts to Sandgate Quarry site: the working quarry and the area to the north where quarrying work has already finished. Okay, time's up. Now where's the dog got to?
There we go. How about that? It's good to see that once they finish with the old quarrying, that they do something with it and make it sort of beautify it. And I imagine once that quarry has finished, they can grow into quite interesting landscapes. So you just got to wait for the industrial heritage to sort of shunt on a bit. But brilliant. Yes, I'd like to know exactly how you get in there and where it is, because their website doesn't really help to tell you where it is. Sorry, folks, I was blurry. Wonder how I can improve. I think what it was is you just encoded the video very, very small. If you can encode it to 720p, 1280 by 720p. When I got it, it was the size of a postage stamp. You had it something like 500 by 400 or something. It was ridiculously small. So, take the original file, whatever you do, when you've edited it, encode it at 720p. That would be great. I am looking forward to knowing how to get in there, because that would be an interesting place for me to go and stroll with my camera and do a complete rip-off of what you've just done. I mean, to do a video, because of course I'm getting desperate for places to go. 0793 4746 give me a call. Why not ring in, Josephine? Then you can tell me exactly how to get there. That would be good. Leslie Couch says, nice video, thank you. And River Reads Roblox says nice things as well. Ed Loud says, thanks. Ron Langley, nice video. Turbo Stream, well done. It was clear enough, absolutely clear enough. I'm not moaning, I'm not complaining. It didn't fuzz up, it wasn't too long. We could see it was an interesting place. That's why I'm curious to know how you get there. Audrey says, I think Austin Metro had a square steering wheel. Did it? As long as it didn't have square wheels, you'd be all right. Yes, the Morris Marina, apparently. Did that have it as well? Mark G. Hello to Mark G. Nice to see you. Nice video. Well done. Thank you very much. Turbo Stream says the Austin Allegro had the square wheel. Oh, there we go. We knew it was an Austin something or other. As long as the four wheels on the car, that's just what I said. Wasn't it the Austin? There we go. The Austin Allegro, an awful car, says Paul Smith. Great. I'm not going to buy an Austin Allegro. I've just decided that it does seem like the wrong kind of vehicle. I saw a lovely Morris Minor the other day. It's always sort of I was gonna be sexist and I was gonna be ageist then, but actually thinking about it, I knew I was completely wrong. I would love to get my hands yet again. I had a Morris Traveller, the estate version of the Morris Minor with the wood, all that lovely timber framing on the back. I would love to have another one of those. Wouldn't get me very far. I remember mine only had the top speed of 45 miles an hour. I loved it. I only owned it for 3 months, and then the front wheel collapsed. Apparently that was a fault with them. There was a pin that held part of the wheel bit up, and if that came out, which apparently it did, the wheel would collapse. It was so sad when that veered across the central reservation and hit a tree, sending me, at about age 20, through the windscreen. The windscreen actually fell out just before I went through it. Because it was at the age of the car, you didn't need a seatbelt either. Seatbelts had come in, but you didn't need a seatbelt in that, and there was no seatbelts for it. Josephine says, yes, of course, I'll let you know where to park and how to get into the Heath Common Woods. From there, you can also get to, Vera Pragnell's. Yes, I did do a Vera Pragnell's thing from there, which is about a mile through the woods. Oh, okay. So I've got a vague idea where it is, but I mean, I'll have to look on an OS map, probably easier. I was just looking on Google Maps. I thought there might have been a, car park or something. I think old cars had more character than the cars today, says Ron Langley. Absolutely true, they had character. I was bemoaning that yesterday on yesterday's show, how the ergodynamics have ruined the shape of cars because people want to go that much faster, or they want to squeeze that much bit of more petrol or gasoline or diesel or whatever it is out of the vehicle, and hence they all look the same. They all look like they're a piece of clay that's been shoved in a wind tunnel and left for 20 minutes whilst it's shaped it in a certain way, which, to a certain degree I understand the science for that, but really If we don't want people to drive fast, we want people to obey the rules, why are we making fast cars? Why do we bother doing that? Why don't we just have cars that have lots of character, cars that you actually want to drive, that are beautiful to look at, and don't all look the same, as if they've come from same ubiquitous mould that just some people have added a few bits and pieces on? No idea. Linda Kane says, thought you were going to make your present car into a mobile home. Yet, well, I haven't been out of lockdown, have I? I haven't been out of lockdown, Linda. I was going to come and do that woman who parked on, what's his name? The poet bloke, the writer who was from, oh God, what's his name? You know, he wrote plays. Alan Bennett. The woman who what was her name? The actress who played the woman who parked on his driveway. Anyway, that woman. What was her name? I can't even remember the name of the actress. I was going to do that. I was going to do that on your drive, Linda. I don't know if you've got a drive, but I was gonna live in my mobile home on your drive, and then every now and again tap on the door and ask for a bowl of sugar. Not that I eat sugar really, but some water, and here's my chamber pot. Could you empty it for me? That sort of thing. No, we've all been in lockdown. I don't know whether Linda realises that we've all been in lockdown. So I haven't been able to go and live in my car, but I was only going to do it for one night. You know, go somewhere, film a lot, then stay the night in the car. I think 2 nights, 3 nights would be absolute maximum, but one night mainly, then film the next day and then come home. It was just to save a little few pennies on B&B stuff and have a bit of fun. But as soon as I've sold my father's house, if I can ever get round to selling my father's house, I do want to get some sort of van or camper van or something, because I want to tour around the country as much as I can. Hello to the caller who's rung in the Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Shoby.
Hello, it's a Moment of Murphy live.
Moment of Murphy live. Ladies and gentlemen, savour this moment. Savour it. How are you, Andrew?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I've been out of film to another Moment of Murphy today. But this time I took along my sister with me.
Oh, and is she as effervescent as you?
She's a bit more brainy when it comes to the historical side of things.
Oh, right, okay. Is she older sister or younger sister?
Younger.
Younger. Is she, she's not like, you know, a little baby sister that you've got in a little carry cot or anything like that?
Unfortunately not.
No. Oh, okay.
She's taller than me anyway.
Oh, is she? Oh, well, that's nice. Well, it's nice. So brother and sister, the Murphy family. It's like the Swiss family Murphy. Or whereabouts are you from? Sort of Portsmouth way, isn't it?
Fareham.
Fareham. The Fareham family Murphy.
Ooh, that's a new name.
There we are. The Fareham family Murphy. Out and about, exploring the countryside. So where did you go?
We went down into Titchfield.
Titchfield. The lovely Julia hails from there.
Of course she does.
And we did a walk round Titchfield not so long ago, and we went to the Abbey.
Yeah, so what we did is we walked down to the Abbey, then into the centre.
Into the centre?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you say you mean the village, the centre of the village? Next to what's the name of that pub in there? It's a funny pub, isn't it?
I think it's called the Bugle, I think.
That's right, the Bugle. Yeah, no, you've got it right.
We cut round and then went into the churchyard.
Oh, did you? We went to the churchyard. Oh, it's like you've been there, I've been there. Isn't it marvellous? Did you go did you know the market hall that was there is now in...
Singleton, isn't it?
Yes, it's that's a funny place, isn't it, Singleton? Because some people call it the Weald and Downland Museum, and other people call it Singleton Open Air Museum. When I was at school, it was definitely a Singleton Open Air Museum, but I don't know whether they've had a change of name.
Yeah, I always refer to it as the Weald and Downland.
Oh dear, that's interesting. I'm sure Linda Kane knows the answer to that. Why it's. Some people call it, because I always call it Singleton Open Air, but it's the Weald and Downland. And I've got a book, I've got a couple of books by John J.R. Armstrong, as it so happens, who was the founder of the Weald and Downland Museum.
Okay. No.
Yeah. One of his books is called Traditional Buildings Accessible to the Public by J.R. Armstrong.
All right.
This one is £2.50 I purchased this for. Thank you very much. In 1874.
Wow.
Just thought I'd let you. It's quite good, interesting. It tells you about the structure and building techniques. It's got a picture of the bailiff's house. Here's the bailiff's house. Look, just so people can see that I'm not making this up completely. Anyway, never mind all that. I can read that book anytime, but I can't speak to the lovely Andrew Murphy from the Moment of Murphy anytime.
No, you can't. See, no, I caught up. I was a bit busy to catch it live yesterday, the show, but I caught up the show whilst reading, let's say, a journal of my old school letters that my mum kept over the years.
All right, let's say that then. And were they saucy?
No, they weren't saucy. Although I did find an interesting email that I sent to the catering staff saying their portion sizes were a bit on the paltry side.
Ah, so you like don't a bit on the paltry side. It's too much chicken then.
No, there wasn't enough of it.
Not enough. I'd say your measly, mean dishes, horrible, stone cold, gravy like bricks. I can't cope with it. And did you ever get a reply?
Well, they said we'll come and see you at your school.
Gosh, and did they?
I can't remember.
Can't remember. Well, they obviously didn't, because you would have remembered. They would have come and naturally would have bowed down to you with a massive, great plate full of food for you.
Oh, of course they would. They would have indulged me to the hilt, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Come back, eat our school dinners, eat.
Yes. He's so excitable. So what's the next project after this then, Andrew?
Hopefully, once lockdown's over, go back up on the downs.
Oh yes.
I went down to a stockist to get some bits and bobs earlier.
To a stockist?
Yes.
That's a nice old word, isn't it? I went to a stockist. Who uses that terminology apart from Andrew Murphy? I went to a stockist. I love it.
So, yeah, no, I wanted to go and get some bits and bobs for some guy built for like powering like lamps from my phone.
No, you'll have to be a bit more specific. The bits and bobs could be anything, couldn't it? Excuse me, I've just arrived at this stockist. Do you stock bits and bobs? We've got some bits, but bobs they've all gone, mate. They've all gone. There's been a run on bobs. Poor old bloke was crossing the road and they ran him over. So,
yeah, these are Wi-Fi controlled smart sockets, but that's for another thing. But whereas I was driving along Kiln Road, sort of like over Fair and Common, you can see like the downs. They were calling me, and as I
Andrew.
Exactly. And as
come to me, Andrew. Come to me. Come this way, Andrew. Come this way, Andrew.
Yeah, no, as I was coming out, because the stockist was in Portsmouth, it also gave my car a bit of a run out.
Oh, nice.
Keep the battery up and running rather than it going flat. Yeah. I saw, as I was going along the Eastern Road, sort of out of the city, I saw Kingly Vale and I thought,
Kingly Vale.
I thought to myself, the temptation was all too. The temptation, it was uncontrollable. But I thought I'd better resist.
Why?
For the benefit of the nation's health, I think that can wait till lockdown's over.
This is the man who went swimming. When everyone else was falling about and dying of COVID. You went swimming in a mixed swimming pool, and braved everything, and yet there you are. Won't go up onto the downs where there probably won't be a soul apart from some beautiful old yew trees to take solace with. I can't understand it. Andrew.
No, to be honest, there's temptation's been there, but you got to abide by the rules. And yeah, so hopefully fingers crossed on, like, from Sunday onwards, we can get back up into places like that. Go and explore the great British countryside, not just round our backyard, so to speak.
Yes, but I thought the police about 3 weeks ago had released a thing saying you can drive for 10 minutes if you're going to walk for an hour.
But to be honest, if
Be
I
honest.
drove 10 minutes, let's say around north towards Wickham and that, I drove back from the supermarket, drove back on Portsdown Hill and back through, and the nearest like forest, like 100 acres near Wickham, the car parks were shut. They were parking in the forest lay-bys and having a walk round.
Yeah.
You can't really, I mean, there's nothing much really round it, so I'm kind of really much stuck in Fareham.
Oh, well, I understand. I mean, if you have to, I could understand you driving out to Kingley Vale. I would have thought that would have been perfectly fine, personally, because if there's nothing around where you've got to drive to the nearest bit of country, or, you know, a respectable bit of countryside. If that takes you half an hour, so be it. But, you know, somebody like me, it's 10, 15 minutes, so I'll go 10, 15 minutes, but if it's half an hour, I don't think anything's wrong with that. Besides which, if a policeman stops you, all you've got to do is say, excuse me, you're talking to a moment of Murphy. And they'll just back right off and say, of course, young man, please go about your business. Spread that COVID as much as you can.
Yeah, but then again, I'll probably get slapped with a fine, so...
Well, there is that, you know, slapped with a fine. As long as you... I mean, I just think that if a policeman comes up and says, I'm afraid you can't do that, you just simply say, oh, okay, thank you very much. If you argue with the policeman, you're asking for trouble. But if you don't ask, if he says, oh, I didn't realise, I thought we could drive to the countryside. He says, where have you been? In Cloud Cuckoo Land? No, I've been watching the Vobes show and it's, you know, I got confused. Oh, right, fair enough. In that case, I'll just go home. And I'm sure that if you just, you know, what they want you to do is just say, oh, yeah, you know, it's all right, and be all very humble, and they won't do anything.
Yeah, that's the one thing, is I watched some, like, dash cam people go up on, like, their bikes and that, and I think there was one video I watched that he was out in the countryside on his motorbike. He got pulled by the police at least 3 times on 3 different bits going back into the towns and that. So I thought to myself, I better not chance it.
Yeah.
And keep until sort of the advice changes. Well,
what was this guy on the bike doing? Was he on his motorbike going over the downs with a bag, sort of casting out sort of bit of COVID here, bit of COVID there? Oi!
I think it was up on the downs. I think it was somewhere in the country somewhere. But yeah, I went to was had to go and get some bits from a nan at B&Q the other day, and even this one over Fareham, towards like Park Gate area, that I queue for 40 minutes getting into the store. My thing is, if I'm queuing in a queue, why can't I go up on and have a walk in the countryside?
Yeah.
Where's the logic in that? I've got probably more chance of catching COVID standing in a queue for a DIY store than I have up on the downs where no soul is about apart from yourself.
Exactly.
I can't see the logic in it.
And if you're after a bit of 4x2 or something, you could get that in the forest anyway if you've got an axe. Don't tell Julia I said that. Yeah, you could just help yourself, couldn't you? Nobody's about. No, you're absolutely right. I think getting out there in the countryside in the fresh air, you're a lot more, and you're away from everybody else. But God knows what they're going to do when we are allowed to go out, and they say, "Oh, social distancing from this. You've got to keep it." How is 3 shops next to each other going to deal with any form of queue?
Exactly, and to be honest, it's even worse.
Can you be honest?
Because well, I went from B&Q, literally over the car park is a cheap store like the range called Home Bargains.
Oh yeah.
And the queue was just as bad getting into that for cheap household supplies and that. I was queuing in there for about 25 minutes, and the queue was even more jam-packed, like sardines we were effectively.
Oh, where's your social distancing in sardines?
Exactly.
That's why I don't even take baked beans now. I can't eat baked beans. I open the can, I look in there, and I look at the beans all packed in. I say, "You're not social distancing, are you? I'm not touching them."
So, but yeah, no, I am definitely looking forward to getting back up on the downs.
Good
I
man.
think I've spent too long in suburbia. I want to get back into the open, back in the full fresh air.
You are somebody who should not be contained.
No, you can't contain me.
No, I can hear that in your voice. It's been wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much for calling in.
That's okay, Richard.
It's lovely and we look forward to the video whenever it comes in.
Fingers crossed, it should be sometime on your screens very soon.
Oh, you couldn't have put it better myself. There we go. Take care, Andrew.
You too, Richard.
All the best.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. There we go, the lovely Andrew Murphy, a moment of Murphy. There was more than a moment there, actually. I think we were blessed. We were blessed with at least 3 moments of Murphy. And if you have a favourite moment of Murphy, please write it down on the back of a £50 note and send it to me. And I will take it straight to the bank and let them know. I think it's time now for another video, but we'll just have a quick look at the things. Dawn Coping says, I love James lemon potatoes. Good. Mrs. Obama ruined school lunches, apparently, says J.W. Harville. They cost more and most kids hated them. The states don't follow her rules now. Is that Mrs. Obama as in ex-president? Mike Stevens says, what was wrong with them? Good night, says Dean Cooper. Oh, good night, Dean. Needs his beauty sleep, of course. Floating our boat. It's nice to see you out there. How are you? I've got your mug. I've got your mug. Where's the mug? Where's the mug? I haven't broke it. I haven't broken the mug. I float my tea in the mug. Honest. Barry Stevens is saying goodbye to Andrew. Lovely to speak to Andrew. Moments of Murphy. There we are. Wasn't that wonderful? Wonderful moments of Murphy. We must crack on with our video. So quickly go into the video box. And so we've gone through to that. Oh, I think... now... Let's do this one, because apparently Adrian must have been chatting to Julia about this. I know nothing about this. I've no idea why it popped in, but apparently Adrian TurboStream said that he was chatting to Julia. Julia asked questions about this, and I have absolutely no idea why it's here, but it is quite impressive, and it's worth having a little gander at, and maybe young Adrian can call us and explain us what it's about, because I am a little bit miffed is the word. But the lovely Julia did ask, so here it is. So there we go. That's a jet car. Now, if you take that engine, stick it on the back of floating your boat, our boat, you whiz round the canals at huge supersonic speed. That's quite amazing. I used to do fire eating for a living. No, really, I really did do fire eating for a living. No, that's not how I got bald. Thank you. I know. Before you ask, I did do fire eating for a living, and yeah, that not quite like that though. When I used to blow fire, it didn't send me 257,000 miles up the track, but that's quite impressive. There we are. Revs for a few minutes and then vanishes. Yes, I suppose if he just switched it on and went vroom, there would have been nothing. I did think they're doing all that for show, presumably, because if he just went, yeah, now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a look at this car that's going to go from 0 to 257,000 million miles per second. Here it comes. Well, do join us again next year when we go a little bit faster. Yeah, that was a bit bizarre. How are we doing on the old time front? 9:14. Let's. I'm going to go straight into another video if that's all right. But that was good fun. I enjoyed that very much. Okay, we're going to go to Gabriel. Gabriel's been out. He's given us lovely two-parters in tonight. Two-parters into some more about Glastonbury. And this one is the story, well, I'm going to let Gabriel tell it, but this is the sort of industrial past, if you like, of some element of the Glastonbury wonder.
Hi, Glastonbury, Gabriel here. I'm on a walk today on this windy but very sunny day. I'm walking to Street. It's about 2 miles from Glastonbury, but there's plenty to see on the way, so let's go and have a look. When you find wool, you find tanning. And when you find tanning, you find buildings. Not too dissimilar to this one. For centuries, the Glastonbury area was known for the production of sheepskin. I have come here to the former Moorlands Tannery site between Glastonbury and Street to what is now the Red Brick Building. The many fine churches and civic buildings in the area attest to the influence and wealth generated by the industry. Associated with all this was the manufacture of clothing and rugs, and particularly those naff slippers that your granny bought you when you was a kid. Moorlands was established in Street in 1822. By the 1860s they'd moved to this site, and in 1870 partnership was formed with somebody called Mr. Clark. More about them later. By 1906 they were making rugs for those newfangled car things. Roar! Oh, and in 1919 they started making those slippers we mentioned. And by 1922 they were making 12,000 of the things a year, keeping grannies across the nation busy Christmas shopping. During World War II they produced fleece-lined footwear for the Air Force. After the war, and with a merger with Bailey and Company, Moorlands became Glastonbury's largest employer. It was in 1982 that the usual story kicks in. The company went into receivership, and despite a brief respite in 1992, the site closed for the very last time. The site was due for demolition, but in 2008 local people got involved in a campaign to save the building and have transformed it now into an enterprise and community hub we see here. We can clearly see where the conversion finishes and what's left to be done starts. There is a phase B and a phase C of this, I understand, which will in time have the entire building converted, but for now this is what's being done. I'm taking a short detour now into what's known as Northover. I've come down here because these are very ancient buildings, and this part of Glastonbury I'm going to come back to later on and have a look at because it's quite historic. For now, just a quick look at Northover. I'll come back here after the lockdown and we'll take a look inside because what they've done in there is actually rather good. But for now, we're moving on to the next stage in our walk to Street. Let's go that way. Before I forget, as we walk across the back of the building here, I want to show you the mill. Not a windmill, like Richard's been looking at, but a water mill, or at least a former water mill. Let's have a look.
Northover Mill is a late medieval fulling mill built and operated by Glastonbury Abbey in circa 1517. At that time, the fulling mill had an annual income of £10, of which 10 shillings was used to support the poor women in the hospital, also run by the Abbey.
Let's go and have a look. Beautiful building.
When the last owners died, it was written into the deeds that it can never again be lived in, and to this day it is occupied by a firm of accountants. I will be returning to this mill when I film the 12th century Mill Brook on which it stands. More of that in another video.
There we go. How about that? Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Another insight to the world of Glastonbury. It just shows you how much history is all around us in this country. Looking forward to part two. Part two will be tomorrow's show, I should say. And don't forget that Glastonbury Gabriel also has a YouTube channel, and it's worth checking out if you haven't checked him out. Put Glastonbury and Gabriel into a YouTube search engine, and up he will pop, and you will be able to catch up with all his other videos. Here is my Floating Your Boat mug. Just give the Floating the Boat team. I just saw you say about the jet car, that's going to be you when the pubs open, and I suddenly had this question for Richard and Fran. Because if you're on a canal, and I mean in lockdown perhaps this wouldn't work quite so much because you're stuck between the locks. But I wondered, here is a question, and this could be a business if nobody's already thought of it. Is there such a thing as a canal bar? In other words, a boat that is a pub that you know, like you have the the coal boats and the fuel boats that go up and down. Wouldn't it be great if there was one that you could get real ale, real cider, that sort of thing? Not homemade wine, but artisan wine, that sort of thing from a boat that you could actually just, it would moor up at different places or travel around, brewing the stuff on the boat and selling it. I think it would be brilliant. You probably wouldn't have much room on the boat, but you could, sell, and you could have little firkins of stuff. Is there anything like that? Have you encountered anything like that? Does anybody do anything like that? What a business opportunity for somebody, especially if the pubs and things are still going to be closed when lockdown opens, so that you can actually lockdown for you, of course, has a different terminology, doesn't it? Now, lockdown, locks are open. Wouldn't that be great if some enterprising person? I would love to know. Give us a call, 0793 4796 322. I do know the number, I just can't remember it. It's 0793 4746 Of course it is. I should have it sellotaped in front of me so I never forget. There are several boats on the network selling beers and ciders. Not sure about brewing on the boat. Sod's law, they ain't near us. See, there was I thinking, there's a business. There's a great business. I thought if nobody had thought of it, you could have the floating bar or something, and it floats along. And as you go past, you see your regulars, and you go, "Yeah, mate, I'll have a pint of whatever's going on." Hello to the caller calling the Vobes Show.
Hello, Richard. It's Ed Loud.
Hello, Ed Loud. How are you?
Oh, not bad. Just dreaming of all these pubs now. You got me thinking.
Yes. What do you think of that idea?
I've already seen a bar on a canal. It was near Paddington Station.
Was it permanently moored?
I don't know, to be honest. I was organising the route for one of those charity walks I mentioned before.
Yes.
And we had to do about 10 miles along the canal. It was a 20-mile walk. And, I tested the route, and I saw this bar. There was lots of restaurants in boats and things, and one of them was a bar,
Well, I was thinking more that it's travelling along. That it's not in any one place. It's travelling along, and I just had this misty-eyed picture of there it is going at 4 miles an hour, chugging along, and then it sees somebody else coming that way, and it's over, the sun is over the yard arm. Not that they have yard arms on canal boats. And then as they pass, a big mug of some real ale, canal thumper or something,
I honestly don't know if it moves, obviously it moves, but I don't know if it's allowed to sell when it leaves that location.
Probably,
the licensing would probably
cause
an issue.
These laws and bylaws and all of that, they ruin it for everybody. But in my misty world, because we've been reading Narrowboat by LTC Rolt, I've got this oldie-woldy image in my mind of these old boats chugging along, with the early diesel and what have you, and that lovely throbbing. Boom, boom, boom,
and
boom.
Wouldn't it be just dreamy to sit there by the canal drinking your ale or your wine
some beautiful.
It's so picturesque.
Absolutely. Lock Gates Porter. I mean, there must be some amazing names that people could make up right now and put in the chat room for, these names that real ales have. Pound ale could be another one. A pint of scrumpy, yes. Ringworm Brewery, Old Canal Thumper, IPA. I'm just reading those. But they've got some really good canal names. I'm sure Richard and Fran could come up with a load because they just live on the boat, so they would know all this. The Tiller Arms.
You've planted a seed in my head now, so I'm going to look when all this lockdown is over. I definitely want to go out and look for a travelling, pub, if you will. I don't think it could exist because of the licensing laws, but it's a brilliant idea, and I see no practical reason why it couldn't exist other than a bit of paper.
J.W. Harville says, can ale. Ha ha! Can ale. Very good. Pump out porter. Here they are. They're coming. But Ron Langley has, of course, come up with the most sensible thing about it, is that there would be too many people falling in the canal. That's true.
Well, I must be honest. I have drank rather considerable amounts by a canal before, and never fallen in. I've been completely sober and fallen in.
Well, the thing is, the canal boat would also have one of those little inflatables, so that if you fell in, you could just swim over to it. Piston Broke Ale. That's quite a good one. Rudder Ale. Excellent name, says Leslie Couch. Barbara Charles says, I placed a trunk call to your number, but the line was engaged in case you hear a message on your O2 recording. A trunk call?
Oh.
When was the last time you ever had a trunk call?
I don't even know what a trunk call is.
Oh my goodness!
I've had a few trunk calls.
Yes, well, you see, you're showing your ignorance there. You're showing your age. I remember.
Now look here, sunshine. I might have the IQ of a deep-fried Mars bar.
Yes,
but I'm sweet.
Yeah. How old? How old are you?
30.
30. Yeah. You see, trunk calls are before your time.
Right, okay.
Greywater Brew, love it. There's some great names coming. Trunk call, that goes back a bit, says Ernie. Yeah, he said trunk call. I can't even really work out what the definition was. A trunk call is like the roads. You have trunk roads.
Do you?
Yeah, not now. I mean, A roads and B roads, but they would. I can't really remember what the definition of a trunk. It's like, it's like the little subs. I can't remember now. Is it a sub route? It's not a main route. Long distance.
Oh.
Trunk call. Trunk.
I've seen a trunk nose before. But
yeah. Somebody can tell me what that is. Mark.
I'm genuinely curious now. I want to know what these trunk calls are. I'm going to have to research that when the show is over.
Long distance to India. A trunk call. Oh, trunk long distance to India. Yeah, very good. Yeah, or Africa. Truncated. Is that what it's short for? Truncated? Because you used to have a trunk road, It's British Empire terminology, says
I
Ernie.
would imagine a trunk road is one that's been sort of cut short and no longer goes where it used to go.
Didn't you have to
I could
book
be
the
wrong.
operator to make a trunk call? I'm going to have to look it up now. I'm going to have to look it
Yeah.
up live on air because I remember them. I don't think I ever made them, but it was one of those things that you would hear someone say, I just made a trunk call to so-and-so. He's not in, don't you know? I don't know where he is. He's probably down at his club. Does anybody go to the club? Is that a thing anymore in the afternoon? I just down at the club, don't you know? Do you go to a club? Bet you've got a club. You're the sort of person who'd have a club.
Who, me?
You, yeah, Ed Loud.
Goodness,
Ed
no,
Loud's
I've
not in. Your brother,
been
Ed Loud's not in at the
fucking
moment.
bored for years. No, not really. There are a few clubs around here, but I'm sort of
Not
one
pub.
of those self-confessed loners. I don't really go to pubs and things.
No, not pub. Club.
Yeah, clubs. I just they're just not my thing, to be honest. I think because I was a carer for so long, I wasn't really going out much. So I think I sort of aged before my time.
Here we go. Trunk call. In everyday use, such as trunk dialing or trunk calls, is another name for long distance. As a word, it means the main, core, or central part before subsidiary. Yeah, you see, I was saying it was the sub ones, but it's actually the main. It can't be in operation anymore, but perhaps it is.
Right. Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Yeah. Well,
I thought we had to get on the blower to an elephant or something.
Did you make a trunk call? Are you long distance?
London to...
What's the old Laurel and Hardy gag, isn't there? There's the Laurel and Hardy gag, and I can't remember what the towns are, but it's essentially something like Stan picks up there's a phone ringing and he answers it and he just says, "It certainly is," and he puts it back up, and Hardy says, "Well, who was that?" He says, "Oh, I don't know, some fella mucking about said it's a long distance from Alabama to Seattle." And I told him it certainly is. And that was... it's a Laurel and Hardy gag. It's fantastic. Oh, I love Laurel and Hardy. A trunk road is an important road for long-distance travel. So the M1 presumably was a trunk road before it became a motorway.
Ah, so it's the exact opposite of what I imagined. I imagined it was a sort of truncated, cut-down road.
Yeah, you see, that's what I was thinking, that it was subservient to the main. Some of the old toll houses would make a neat pub or cafe. Yeah, that's very true.
I think the history of roads is really fascinating as well. You could make a whole series of videos just on the history of roads. You know, some of the main roads we use today, they go back to Roman times and things.
They do. I've
Really
got the lovely Linda Kane gave me a book called Narrowboat. She wants it back. But she also gave me another book called the A272, which is a cross-country road. And it goes west to east or east to west, depending on which way you point the car or walk or whichever way your bicycle's facing, or your sail if you're sailing that way. And it's a very clever book because it tells you the history not only of the road, but places 5 or 6 miles north or south of that road as you travel in the direction.
Yeah, I actually sort of the areas I would walk around here where I live if I'm not in the Romney Marshes is sort of what's the correct word? Sort of I'm always pointed in the right direction because of the roads. Because some of these major roads, you know, like the A2, which is quite close to me, they're like natural boundaries. Like if you live in the country, the mountains and the rivers will be your boundaries.
Yes.
Where you're comfortable and where you know like the back of your hand, and I know the next 5 miles like the back of my hand. And then you get to a mountain or a river, and that's it. That's like the edge of your territory.
Yes, that's right.
I was sort of doing this exercise using Google Maps and pinpointing sort of trying to work out where is my territory, where's my backyard, where do I know every single road and every single alley. And it was about a 6.5 mile circumference, and it was kind of bounded by the A2, the South Circular, and Shooters Hill Road, which is the A something or other. It's a
how does Shooters Hill? How does it get its name?
There's quite a few different rumours. The main one being that there used to be a lot of archery in the area.
You
back
see.
when everyone had to not how to use a colour now.
Shooters, oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's lots of stories about highwaymen and all sorts of things along there. But it's one of those main arteries that, led from London to I think to Dover, maybe Folkestone. So it was sort of the highway to the continent, and even today it's
a trunk road, you might say.
Road.
A trunk road.
Exactly.
And
it's just amazing how it guides my walks, and I'm sort of always guided by these major roads, whereas if I'm in the Romney Marshes, I'm kind of guided by, well, where's the military canal on one side, where's the sea on the other, and where are the hills on the other.
And you're kind of in the Romney Marshes. You've got all the drainage ditches, so you're sort of having to continually either cross them on bridges or go parallel with them until you can cross them, aren't you?
Yeah, well, most of them sort of go underground now, or sort of a bridged, which isn't too much of a problem, but definitely there's a few big ones, and there's the military canal, which are just sort of, unless you've got a group of engineers to build you a bridge, they are natural boundaries. But It seems in the city, the natural boundaries are roads. And
weren't they going to in the Napoleonic Wars? Weren't they going to open if invasion happened? Weren't they going to open the sea defences and drown everyone?
I've never heard that one, but certainly the military canal was built to try and keep out Napoleon, which as a kid I always thought was rather bizarre, because the lovely gentleman had just crossed the English Channel with all his French friends, and this little canal was going to stop them. But as I got older, I kind of realised, well, yes, if you've got 100,000 men and they've all got to cross this canal,
it's going to slow them down, is it? It's going to slow them down. And I do remember reading in a book I've got. He says, looking up at the shelf above me, if it's in here next. A book on the Romney Marshes, and I can't remember what period it was, but I'm sure it was the Napoleonic. They were so worried about the French that they were what's his name, Pitt, was talking in Parliament, and I think it's in the Hansard. In the Hansard thing, where they write down everything that goes on in Parliament. And I think they had discussed in Parliament that they would sacrifice the farmers on the Romney Marshes and the people who lived there by opening the floodgates and letting the seawall go in if the soldiers came. And they would sacrifice those. They'd all drown, obviously, but in order to stop the Frenchies coming in.
Goodness me, there could be a lot of truth in that, because I know at one time, I know Dymchurch quite well and New Romney, and those places were very reliant on their seawall. In fact, if you ever read Dr. Sin, Dymchurch is called Dr. Sin.
I am Dr. Sin. Sorry,
but it's amazing how roads are your boundaries, and especially living in a built-up area. So that some of the videos I've been recording to send into the show over the next few weeks, they're all sort of bounded by roads, and I'm sitting there walking along, doing whatever I'm doing, and I'm always by a busy road, and half the time you wouldn't even dream I'm right next to the A2. Or
do you know, I rarely dream. I rarely dream of you. And if I do dream of you, it's not you sitting next to the A2. But, maybe tonight. Tonight might be the time I do that dreaming. We have gone well over time, I'm afraid, because
we have.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave politely.
Yes, I was just saying that. Well, have a lovely night, Richard. Thanks for the show.
It's wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much for calling in, and we've discovered what trunk calls are. And I'm so sorry that Barbara Charles couldn't get through on one. Never mind. Take care, Ed. And he's gone. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Wendy Lowry, I don't know if you're still there. We've got a lovely video from you, but if we can shove that on to tomorrow, that would be superb. And Mike Dixon, we have the Starling attack. We have Hitchcock's birds from his glass bird feeder. That will be appearing in tomorrow's show. So lots, reasons to be tuning in, of course. So that's it. Thanks for calling in. Ed, very nice to talk to you. Shooters Hill is in Watling Street, another Roman road. Josephine says, do you always walk in a straight line? Do you always? Who is she addressing? It's very difficult to go on a circular route if you're following a Roman road, isn't it? I've noticed that. Barry says the A30, called London Road, goes past me. It runs from London to Land's End, and it is Roman. Here's a question for you. The Romans, just before I go, the Romans, did they speak with Italian accents? Did they all go, "Hey, Julius, I must ask you, are you having a spaghetti?" Because they came from Italy, didn't they? The Romans? Did they speak with... We always hear them speaking in Greek and, in the films. Why don't they have Italian accents? There's a question that you can answer tomorrow if you can be bothered, but probably with any luck you've forgotten. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much. Been lovely to see you and talk to you and all of that. And look after yourselves. Have a good night, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. I shall be reading Narrowboat again at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. LTC Roltz. It's very interesting. We're closing in on part 3, the end. Getting close to the end. A beautiful book. So well written. Another video for you to watch tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed today's one. There's another one for you to watch from me, and another show in the evening. So there we go. Thank you very much. Look forward to tomorrow. Sleep well, everyone, says Josephine Stuter. And that's it, says Daisy of your nighty-night. I don't know that you write the script for me, which is even better. Non cotus compos mentis, so to speak. Thank you to Mike Stevens for that. Until next time, goodbye! It's an Italian Roman road. I want to get onto the canal boat and have some of that lovely beer whilst I'm making a trunk call. Hey, you, elephant, make me a trunk call all the way to New York. I want to speak to that very...